Number 1. Lentils, the humble powerhouse. Lentils are small, dried legumes, cousins of beans and peas, and they have fed people cheaply for thousands of years, from the lentil stew in the book of Genesis to the kitchens of India today. They are one of the best protein bargains on earth. A single cooked cup gives you around 18 grams of protein, plus a wall of fiber, iron, and folate, all for a few cents. If you find that meat sits heavy, chewing has become a chore, or your budget simply will not stretch to it every day, lentils quietly solve all three. After 50, the real key is getting a solid dose of protein at each meal, because your body becomes slower to turn food into muscle and needs a bigger nudge each time. A warm bowl of lentil soup is one of the gentlest, easiest ways to give it that nudge, soft enough for any appetite. Beyond protein, lentils are loaded with the slow, soluble fiber that research consistently links with healthier cholesterol and steadier blood sugar, and large studies of regular legume eaters tie a daily serving to better heart health and longer life. The iron matters too, because so much of the tiredness people blame on age is quietly low iron. Lentils are not a complete protein alone, but eaten across a week with grains and seeds, that small gap closes completely. To use them, simmer a cup of dried red or green lentils in 3 cups of water for about 20 minutes, no soaking needed, and they melt into soups, stews, curries, and even veggie burgers. A bag costs almost nothing and keeps for a year in the cupboard, so they are the perfect thing to keep stocked. They grow easily in cool climates, too. But the next one is the bean that built whole civilizations, and it is just as cheap. Number 5, edamame, the complete pod. Edamame are young green soybeans, the ones served warm and salted in their pods at Japanese restaurants, and nutritionally they are a heavyweight. 1 cup delivers around 18 grams of protein. And here is what sets soy apart from nearly every other plant. It is a complete protein, carrying every single essential amino acid your body needs all on its own, with no clever food pairing required to fill any gaps. If you have ever been told that plant protein is somehow second-rate or not real protein, edamame is the simple, delicious answer to that myth. After 50, your body needs every one of those essential amino acids in good supply to repair and rebuild muscle, and soy hands them all over in one food. It is also quietly satisfying to eat slowly, pod by pod, which suits a smaller appetite, a quiet afternoon, and a hand that likes something to do. Soy has been studied more thoroughly than almost any plant food on Earth. And the picture that emerges is genuinely reassuring. Research links moderate soy intake with healthier cholesterol, better blood vessel function, and, for many older women, gentler menopausal changes and stronger bones. The old fears about soy and hormones simply have not held up in the human studies, where moderate whole food soy looks consistently good for the heart rather than harmful, so you can enjoy it with confidence. You will find edamame in the freezer aisle, both in the pod and already shelled, ready in about 5 minutes of steaming and then sprinkled with a little sea salt. The shelled beans toss straight into stir-fries, soups, and salads for an instant protein boost. They are inexpensive and store for months in the freezer, so there is no waste. Next is the food that turns those same humble soybeans into something soft enough for absolutely any meal. Number 6, tofu, the shapeshifter. Tofu is simply soybeans soaked, blended, and pressed into a soft white block, made much the way cheese is made from milk, and it has nourished East Asia for 2,000 years. Half a block carries around 20 grams of complete protein. And tofu's quiet genius is that it has almost no flavor of its own, so it soaks up whatever you cook it with and can become whatever your meal needs it to be. If your teeth, your gums, or your digestion are simply not what they once were, Tofu is a real gift. Soft, silken tofu is almost custard-like, easy to swallow and gentle on a tender stomach, while firmer blocks can be baked or fried until they crisp up like chicken. For an older body that needs steady protein, but cannot face a struggle at every meal, few foods anywhere are as forgiving, as soothing, or as endlessly useful as a block of tofu. Because it is made from whole soybeans, tofu carries that same complete protein advantage along with calcium and often added vitamin D, two nutrients your bones lean on heavily after 50 as they naturally start to thin. Calcium-set tofu can rival a glass of milk for calcium, which makes this a quiet double ally, feeding your muscles and your skeleton at the same time. That combination of muscle and bone support in one cheap, soft food is genuinely hard to beat. The one trick worth learning is to press the water out of firm tofu first, wrapping it in a towel under a weight for 20 minutes, then marinate it and bake or pan fry until golden so it drinks up flavor and holds together. Silken tofu needs no pressing and blends into creamy sauces, soups, and even smoothies and desserts. It is cheap and keeps for weeks sealed in the fridge. Next is tofu's older, nuttier, even more protein-dense cousin. Number 7. Tempeh, the fermented block. Tempeh comes from Indonesia, made by fermenting whole soybeans until they knit together into a firm, nutty cake you can slice and cook like a small steak. It is one of the most protein-dense plant foods in existence, packing around 30 grams into a single cup, and because the beans are left whole, it keeps all their fiber and minerals rather than straining any of it away, unlike many processed proteins. If a sensitive stomach has made ordinary beans difficult, with all the discomfort that can bring, tempeh may sit far more comfortably. The fermentation works like a head start on digestion, breaking down some of the very compounds that make legumes hard on the gut. And it adds friendly bacteria, too. After 50, a calm, well-fed gut is what lets you actually absorb the nutrients you are working so hard to eat. So tempeh quietly delivers protein and better digestion together. That same fermenting process unlocks minerals like iron and zinc into forms your body can use more easily, and creates beneficial compounds researchers are still busy exploring for gut and heart health. As a whole soy food, tempeh keeps the complete protein and bone-supporting benefits of its cousins, but with more protein per mouthful than almost anything else on this entire list, which is exactly what an aging body that tires of large meals needs. Real nourishment in a small, satisfying serving. To tame its slightly bitter edge, slice it and steam or simmer it for 10 minutes first. Then marinate in something savory like soy sauce and maple and fry or bake it until crisp and golden. It also crumbles into a brilliant hearty mince for pasta sauces and tacos. Look for it chilled near the tofu, and it freezes well. Next, we leave the soy family altogether for a tiny legume hiding inside a very familiar jar. Number 15. Quinoa, the mother grain. Quinoa was sacred to the ancient Incas, who called it the mother of all grains, though botanically it is really a seed. A cup cooked gives about 8 grams of protein, and here is the rare and valuable part. Unlike almost every other grain, quinoa is a complete protein, carrying every essential amino acid on its own, which lifts it head and shoulders above ordinary rice, bread, and pasta as a base for a meal. If your usual rice and bread leave you scrambling to find protein elsewhere on the plate, quinoa quietly fills that gap inside a single food. After 50, building a meal around a complete protein base takes all the guesswork out of getting enough, which is a real relief. It is also naturally gentle and entirely gluten-free, so it suits sensitive or easily upset stomachs, and its light, fluffy texture and mild taste make it pleasant and easy to eat even on an off day. Beyond that complete protein, quinoa brings a useful supply of magnesium, iron, and fiber, a trio that supports your muscles, your energy levels, and your digestion all at once as the years go by. Because it carries every amino acid on its own, it is an effortless way to make a meatless meal nutritionally solid and satisfying, with none of the careful bean and grain food pairing that other plant proteins sometimes quietly ask of you. It simply does the work itself. Always rinse quinoa well in a fine sieve first to wash away its natural bitter coating. Then simmer 1 part quinoa to 2 parts water for about 15 minutes until the little spiral tails uncurl and it turns fluffy. Use it just like rice, hot as a side or cold in salads through the week. It keeps for months dry in the cupboard. Next is its ancient cousin, even higher in protein and just as worthy of a place on your plate. Number 17, spirulina, the blue-green powder. Spirulina is a microscopic blue-green algae, one of the very oldest forms of life on Earth, grown and dried into a deep green powder. By weight, it is almost unbelievable, roughly 60% protein, which is denser than meat, so a single tablespoon adds about 4 grams of complete protein, along with a remarkably concentrated load of iron, B vitamins, and antioxidant pigments, all packed into a portion no bigger than a teaspoon. If your energy is flagged, and the very idea of preparing and chewing a full meal feels like a lot of effort, a spoonful of spirulina stirred into a drink delivers protein and dense minerals with almost no eating required at all. For a frail, tired, or fading appetite, that sheer concentration is a real and practical advantage, packing genuinely remarkable nourishment into a few small swirls of green that go down in a single easy mouthful. Spirulina is especially rich in iron and B vitamins, the very nutrients tied to energy and to fighting the quiet, dragging tiredness so many people feel after 50, and in antioxidant pigments that researchers have studied for supporting the immune system and helping to steady cholesterol. The protein is complete, and gram for gram, it genuinely outdoes almost anything else in your kitchen. It is potent stuff, so a teaspoon or 2 a day from a quality, properly tested brand is plenty. The easy way to enjoy it is to blend a teaspoon into a fruit smoothie or a glass of juice, where the sweetness comfortably hides its strong, earthy, oceany taste. Start with a small amount and build up slowly to let your stomach adjust to it. It is pricey by the bag, but because you use it in such tiny pinches, a single pouch lasts a surprisingly long time. Next is the savory flake that solves a very specific problem of growing older. Number 19, seitan, the wheat meat. Seitan is made from wheat gluten, the protein of wheat, rinsed free of its starch, and then cooked into a firm, chewy, savory food with a genuinely meat-like texture and bite. Buddhist monks created it centuries ago as a meat substitute, and it remains the single most protein-dense food on this entire list, with around 25 grams in a small 3-ounce serving, putting it right alongside the protein of beef. If you genuinely miss the heartiness and satisfaction of meat but want to lean on it far less often, seitan is the most convincing stand-in there is by a wide margin. Its dense chew and deep savory flavor satisfy in a way that beans and even tofu simply cannot, which makes hitting your daily protein target after 50 noticeably easier and a great deal more enjoyable, especially on the days when assembling a big, careful plant meal feels like real work. Because it is concentrated wheat protein, seitan is naturally low in carbohydrate and fat and packs more protein per single bite than anything else we have met today. There is one important caution, and it is simple but absolute. Seitan is pure gluten, so anyone with celiac disease or a real gluten sensitivity must avoid it entirely, with no exceptions. For everyone else who tolerates wheat well, though, it is a remarkable, filling, and very affordable source of protein. You can buy it ready-made in strips or a block in the chilled aisle, or make a big batch yourself very cheaply from Vital Wheat gluten flour, kneaded into a dough, and then simmered gently in a savory, well-seasoned broth that flavors it through. Slice, Season and fry, grill, or stew it exactly as you would meat, and it freezes well for later too. Now, for our final food, we return to a tiny seed you have walked past 1,000 times.